Hi, this is Diana from Yarnetti's Crochet, and today we're going to be making the quick summer headscarf. This is the perfect take-along project if you're going on a car trip or you're going on a plane. And this is beginner-friendly. This is a breezy headscarf, and it's really a perfect summer project. So I want to show you some examples. This first headscarf was made from mandala string yarn, and the colorway on that is Tune, and it's absolutely gorgeous. This next beanie was made from yarn from my stash, but the kind of yarn that I used is a cotton fair yarn. This isn't the exact yarn, but like I said, this was yarn from my stash, but this is cotton fair yarn. This scarf, beautiful, beautiful drape, is made with Kobu bamboo cotton yarn, and it's in the colorway mauve. This headscarf was made, let me turn this around on the right side. There you go. This was made with Premier Afternoon cotton in the colorway Fog. This, and I think this is my favorite one, this scarf was made with Premier Home cotton in the color Denim Splash. I think it's my favorite one. And I think my second favorite one might be this one. This one is made with Lion Brand 24/7 cotton in the colorway Denim. And today for our project, we're going to be using Premier Home, and it's in the colorway Driftwood. So you're going to need approximately, this yarn is a 4-weight cotton yarn. It's a combo cotton polyester yarn, and I will say that it works up slightly smaller than if you were using like a sugar and cream. Although I love sugar and cream yarn for different projects, I don't recommend it for this project because it tends to split. And Premier Home, for some reason, it's just not as splitty, like I said, and it does work up a little bit smaller. The wraps per inch is, meaning, the thinness, the number of times that you could wrap the yarn in an inch is higher. So that means that whatever you are making is going to work up smaller. And you're also going to need, I used a 4mm hook or a G hook. You're going to need some scissors. I recommend a tool for measuring. We're going to be measuring the depth of the headscarf just to make sure we're on track. And then also, I would recommend at least one stitch marker. I'm going to put a stitch marker aside. I am going to be using a stitch marker to help us see one single crochet stitch that gets hidden while we're stitching. And so grab yourself a stitch marker. And then also I recommend a bent tip needle for weaving in your ends. If you end up using a 3-weight, 2-weight, or 1-weight yarn, I would recommend an embroidery needle to weave in your ends. It'll give you a better finish. So let's get started. Let me move all of my headscarves out of the way. And we're going to start with, you're either going to start with a magic circle, or you can do a chain 3 or 4 and slip stitch to form a ring. The way that this headscarf is constructed is you're going to start at this these center top stitches, and you're going to increase, and you're going to build the straight edge of the scarf. And as you build this straight edge, the scarf will continue to build into a triangle shape. So let's get started. I use a magic circle, so that's what I'm going to demonstrate. There's a lot of different ways to make a magic circle. I recommend that you watch several videos on how people make their magic circles and pick one that works for you. So once you have the magic circle completed, you're going to chain 4. Now into the ring that you made, you're going to work, and this would be your row 1. You're going to be working into this ring, and you're going to, actually I should have made a chain 5. Sorry, 1, 2, the chain that I used when I formed my magic ring counts as a chain, so I do have a chain 5. And this chain 5 counts as a double crochet chain 2 here and throughout the pattern. So into the ring, you're going to be working 3 double crochet, a chain 3, another 3 double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. And at this point, you can tighten up your ring a little bit. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my videos. It really helps other people that are learning to crochet to find my content. I really appreciate that if you would do that. Also, if you need a printed pattern of this tutorial, I will have that available. You don't necessarily need the printed pattern to make this project, but if you need it, I will provide you a link and you can download that for free. So we have just completed our row 1, and now we're moving on to row 2. Row 2, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work over. Now you're going to have a chain space right here, and you're going to need to single crochet into that chain space, then chain 3, and into that same chain space, work a second single crochet. What this does is forms a new chain space. Now you're going to chain 3, and this is the corner chain space. And into the corner chain space, you're going to work a single crochet, chain 3, and single crochet. Now chain 3. I'm going to skip over those 3 double crochets, and you're into this chain space at the end or at the beginning, depending on what your perspective is. You're going to work a single crochet, chain 3, and you could work another single crochet, but I think it looks better if you single crochet into the top of that chain 3. It makes the edge or the top edge of your scarf straighter. So after row 2, you're going to have something that looks like this. So you have this this center magic circle, and you're beginning to see the triangle shape. At the ends, you have a chain space, another chain space here, a chain space in the corner or the tip, another chain space here, and then another chain space at the very end. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chain spaces. And into each of those chain spaces, we're going to be working 3 double crochets, which also could be referred to as a shell. So the first thing we need to do to start row 3 is to chain 5. Turn your work, and inside that first chain space, you're going to work 3 double crochets. Into the next chain space, you work 3 double crochets. Now we've reached the corner chain space. Inside the corner chain space, we work 3 double crochets. Get some yarn here. Chain 3. And work another 3 double crochets inside that same corner chain space. Now we come to another chain space, 3 double crochet inside that chain 3 space, or around that chain 3 space. Now we reached the chain space at the end. And if you remember, at the very beginning, we made a single crochet. I should have marked it just to kind of help you guys out, to mark that single crochet with stitch marker. And then we chained 3. So that formed that chain 3 space. But at the very end, you have a single crochet. Inside the next chain space, you work 3 double crochets. Then chain 2. Then you're going to double crochet into that first single crochet of the previous row. This is what it looks like. You can kind of see the V right here. It's laying down. It can be tricky to see. Crocheting into this chain, or into this single crochet, will help make the edge of your scarf nice and straight. So let's take a look at what we have now. We've completed the row 1. Row 2 was a chain row. Row 3 was a double crochet row. So now we're going on to row 4. And this is the pattern. You're going to have a double crochet row, a chain row, a double crochet row, a chain row. So the next row is going to be a chain row, row 4. And they're all the same, and you'll begin to see the pattern. Every chain row starts with a chain 1, single crochet into that chain space. And this time I'm going to remember to mark it. Chain 3, single crochet into that same chain space. Every chain row starts exactly the same way. Now we have these groups of double crochets, the groups of 3 double crochets. Now there's no chain space in between, but we do single crochet between these groups of 3 double crochets or shells. So chain 3, single crochet between the shells or the 3 double crochet groups. Chain 3, single crochet between the groups of 3 doubles. Chain 3. Now we've reached the corner chain space. We do exactly the same thing. Oh, I have a visitor. Lovely. Single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. Every chain row, you do the same thing in that corner chain space. If it's a chain row. Now we're going to chain 3, sorry. Single crochet between the double crochet groups. Wow. Here we go again. Seriously. Oh my goodness. Oh, Gracie, come on. Chain 3. Single crochet. Do you think she's needy? Goodness gracious. 1, 2, 3 chains. Now here's this chain 5 at the end. So you're going to single crochet into the chain 5. All right, we've come to that point where she needs to be removed. Sorry. Sorry about that. My kitty's very needy. So we're still working on the same row. I worked a single crochet into that chain space. Now I need to chain 3. And this one you can much more easily see the chain 3. So remember at the end there's a chain 5. It counts as a double crochet, chain 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet into the top of the chain 3. So there's 1, 2, 3. So I need to work my single crochet right into that chain 3. Just like that. Ooh, she left cat hair everywhere. Okay, so this is what we have. We have one round, or no, we have 2 rounds of these double crochets, clusters or groups, shells, and then we have these 2 rounds of chain rows where we use those chain rows to provide the spaces for where we make our double crochets. So we actually have worked 1, 2, 3, and then we just worked a chain row, 4. So we actually have, after row 4, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 chain spaces. And now we're ready to go on to row 5. And hopefully you're beginning to see the pattern. Row 5 is going to be a double crochet row. So every double crochet row starts the same way. The double crochet rows start with a chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then in that first chain space, we work 3 double crochets. In this next chain space, we work 3 double crochets. Next chain space, 3 double crochets. Next chain space, 3 doubles. We've reached the corner. In the corner, we work 3 doubles, chain 3, 3 doubles. Oops. Okay. Chain space, we work 3 doubles. Next chain space, work 3 doubles. Next chain space, work 3 doubles. Here's our chain space at the end. We've got the chain space plus that single crochet. In the chain space, we work 3 doubles. Chain 2. Double crochet into that single crochet right there. So we have how many 3 double crochet groups? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 3 double crochet groups. So now we're going to work a chain row. Every chain row starts the same, and as you can see, it's building on the sides and the V is getting bigger. Every chain row starts with a chain 1, turn your work, single crochet. And if you're having problems finding that single crochet, go ahead and mark it with a stitch marker. Sometimes when those stitches are laying down, it gets tricky to see exactly where they are. Single crochet, chain 3, single crochet in the same chain, beginning chain space. Chain 3. Now we're starting to single crochet between the groups of double crochet. So here's the first one, here's the first group, here's the second group, single crochet between, chain 3, single crochet between, chain 3, single crochet between, chain 3, that's chain 2, chain 3, single crochet between, chain 3, corner, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, all in the same chain space. Now we continue down the other side, chain 3, single crochet between, chain 3, single crochet between, chain 3, single crochet between, single crochet, chain 3. Okay, we've reached the end. Oh dear. She's done sitting on my lap. Okay, the last chain space, single crochet into that chain space, chain 3. Now, single crochet into the top of the chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Looks like it's right there. And that's the end of that row. So we have 1, 2, 3 double crochet rows, and we have 3 chain rows. Now for this, for the 4-weight Premier Home cotton yarn, for the 4-weight yarn, you're going to be working a total of, let me see how many rows. You're going to be working a total of 14 rows. So that means you're going to have 7 double crochet rows and 7 chain rows. The last row that you make on the triangle part of the scarf is a chain row. So I want you to go ahead and finish all of your double crochet and chain rows to form the triangle part of your scarf. And when you're done with that, we will work the ties. So go ahead and finish that, and I will meet you to complete the ties for the scarf. Okay, I have completed 7 double crochet rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm about to complete my 7th chain row. It's slightly different from the other chain rows, so that when we add our ties, the top of this remains nice and straight. So normally we're still going to chain 1 to start our chain row, and normally we would do the single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. But with this last row with the chains, before you start your ties, you're just going to complete 1 single crochet into that chain space, just the 1 single crochet. And then you're going to chain 3, single crochet between, chain 3, single crochet between, and continue to follow the same chain row sequence, including the single crochet, chain 3, single crochet into the corner. Go ahead and complete that till we get to the very end, because we're just going to be adding 1 single crochet into this final chain space. So go ahead and complete the chain row up until this final chain space. I'll meet you there, and we'll finish that row. All right, so I'm at the end of the 7th chain row, or the 14th row, and inside this last chain space, I'm just going to work 1 single crochet. So at this point, we have the triangle part of the scarf finished, and it has, one of the reasons I love this Premier yarn is it has some really nice drape to it, and it works up really fast. The depth of this, without the finish row right here at the top, is about 7.5 inches. Now, if you want yours larger, or you're wanting to use a different weight of yarn, stick with me, because I'm going to give you specific row counts and stitch counts for different weights of yarn. That's not included in the PDF pattern. So stick with me. I'll give you that information, and you can pause it and screenshot it. And if you happen to need it, then you can have it for future reference. So the next part of this scarf is going to be the ties. To work the first tie, you need to chain 41 stitches. So go ahead and chain your 41 stitches, and I'll meet you at the end for the next part, the next row. So I finished my 41 chains on the first tie. You're going to flip your chain over so the back bumps of the chain are visible, and we're going to be working single crochets into the back bump of the chain. So starting with the second chain from the hook, you're going to insert your hook into the back bump of that chain and work a single crochet. Continue working single crochets into the back bump of that chain all the way until you reach the edge of the triangle part of the scarf. At the end, you should have 40 single crochets. So go ahead and complete your 40 single crochets, and I'll meet you at the triangle part of the scarf. Okay, so I finished doing my 40 single crochets into the back bump of the chain. So I finished off the first tie. Now I'm going to work single crochets over the entire top of this edge of the triangle of the scarf. Then we will work the second tie on the other end. So to work the single crochets into the sides of these stitches can be a little tricky, but if you take your time, you should be able to do it. So there is this single crochet at the very beginning here. Go ahead and work a single crochet into that stitch. And into this chain 3, you're going to work 3 single crochets. So you're crocheting right into that chain. Now you're going to come to another single crochet here. Insert your hook and single crochet into that stitch. The stitch is laying on its side, so it can be tricky to see, but it's single crochet from the previous rows. Then you're going to encounter another chain of 3, so single crochet into that. 3 single crochets into that chain. And you're going to continue this process across the top of the scarf. I want you to go ahead and work those stitches until you get to the very center. And then I want you to take a look at what we're going to do next, because one side of the scarf, the stitches at the top look a little bit different than the stitches at the top at the other side. So go ahead and complete the single crochets until you get to the very center, and I'll meet you there. Okay, I've worked my way with single crochet stitches all the way to the center point of the triangle. I tighten up that magic circle. I do not work a stitch into that center point, but I begin working single crochet stitches along this chain right here. And it looks a little bit different. You're almost going into the side of a single crochet stitch. It looks different. It's not as exact. You're just kind of working them in there. Now, work all 3. And then there's this stitch right here. So I'm going to work a single crochet into that little tiny hole there. Then I'm going to work 3 more in that next chain. 1 in the hole. And as I said before, at the end of these rows, you're going to work 4 stitches at the end of each of these double crochet rows. There's a total of 56 single crochet stitches across the top of the triangle, not including the ties. So go ahead and finish your single crochet stitches, and I'll meet you at the end to complete the tie. So I've finished my 56 stitches across, and now I need to chain 41 for the next tie. So go ahead and chain 41, and I'll meet you at the end of the chain. Okay, I completed my 41 chains. Now in the second chain from the hook, I'm going to single crochet into the back bump of that second chain and into every chain. Oh my goodness. Do you see what she's doing? See what I have to put up with? Look at this abuse. Oh my gosh, Gracie. Go ahead and single crochet into the back bump of every chain, and I will meet you at the end to fasten off. Okay, so I've come to the end of completing my single crochets into the back bump, and now I'm going to fasten off. I'm going to slip stitch into that single crochet at the very end and fasten off. Leave a decent tail so you can weave in your ends. Sorry about that. And your scarf is essentially complete. All you need to do now is to weave in your tails. Now, I did tell you that I would explain to you if you were wanting to use some different yarn, that I could give you the stitch counts for those yarn types. First of all, if you need the pattern, this is what the pattern looks like, and it's free to download. I have all the rows for you. I have all the rows up to all the way to row 14, and then the directions for the ties, the stitch counts for the ties, and how to work those. If you need that, like I said, you can download that. Also, if you are interested in making a scarf with this Lion Brand 24/7 cotton, so that would have been this yarn right here. It's a gorgeous yarn. Wow, the stitch definition is fantastic. It's very similar to the Premier Home Cotton yarn. Even though this is considered a 4-weight yarn, I believe it's 4-weight yarn. Let me double check on the list. Yes, even though it's a 4-weight yarn, it works up more like a 3-weight. Very similar to Premier Home Cotton. I would use a G hook with that. You're going to need approximately 80 yards, and you're going to have 14 rows, just like you did with the pattern we just completed. Chain 41 for the ties. If you plan on using Lion Brand Kobu yarn, which was this yarn right here, I would continue to use a G hook, or you could go up to a 4.5 millimeter hook. And I know it sounds counterintuitive, but it works. This works up a little bit smaller because it is a 3-weight yarn. So if you want it to be the same size as this, as the scarf we just made, you might have to go up a hook size. You're going to need about 100 to 125 yards, and you're going to have 16 rows instead of 14. So you're going to have more rows. But continue to use the chain 41 for the ties. If you're interested in using the Cotton Fair yarn, oh my heavens, this is a 2-weight yarn. But what's cool about it, it is cotton and acrylic, so it's not super splitty. It's very easy to work with, but it works up way smaller. So you're going to have to do 16 rows, and again, you can go up to a 4.5 millimeter hook, and it'll be fine. It'll be very lacy, but if you want it to be the same size as the scarf that we just made, you might have to go up a hook size, and it'll be fine. It'll be beautiful. The next yarn was the Premier Afternoon Cotton. Now this is very interesting yarn. This is 100% mercerized cotton. Beautiful yarn. It says it's a 3-weight, which is like, this doesn't look like a 3-weight at all to me. This reminds me of more like a 2 or a 1-weight yarn. They recommend an F hook for my scarf that I made, I used an F hook. You're going to need about 100 to 125 yards, but you're going to need 18 rows. And you need to increase your chains for your ties to about 51 for the ties itself. For this, and this was one of my favorites. It was fun to make for the mandala string yarn. And it does behave like string. I would recommend an E hook. And you're going to need 100 to 125 yards. And you need to go up to 20 rows and do a chain 51 for ties. So this information is not included in the printed pattern. So if you need this information or you're interested in trying out the scarf with different types, different weights of yarns, screenshot this so you have it for future reference. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please like and subscribe so that other crocheters, yes, Gracie, other crocheters can find my content, especially if it's somebody who needs help with crochet. And remember, if you're a beginner crocheter, don't give up. You're probably doing better than you think. Until the next tutorial, we'll see you the next time.